Hi, my name is Alexander and I work for FARO, the Flemish Interface for Cultural Heritage in Belgium. In the previous chapter, you learned everything about the importance of having a good strategy and planning in order to make your museum more autism friendly. In this chapter, we will talk about equipping the workforce. More specifically, we will focus on the importance of having the whole team behind you if you want to make progress in becoming a more autism friendly museum. Today, we will talk about the importance of teaming up, the fact that everybody should be involved in the museum, how you can empower the workforce, and also the fact that we already have a suite of tools that you can use in order to help you to become a more autism-friendly museum. Let's start with the importance of teaming up. Probably you might be the only person within your museum that really thinks that it's important to become more autism-friendly. Maybe there are some other people within the museum, but very often it's not the case that you have the whole museum already behind you and everybody thinks that, yes, we should do that. So you will have to win people's hearts and minds within the museum. Therefore, it's so important to team up, because as a team, you have more power than as being just a single person. This is the importance of teaming up. Look within the museum, search for other people who are like-minded, who also want to make your museum more autism friendly. So the first thing you have to do after having made up a strategy and a specific planning is having a project team. Look for those people, bring together the team, and also trying to gain support from the senior management, because it's them who have to make the decisions. It's them who have to make and also provide funding if necessary to adapt things, to buy certain things. So having a good team within the museum is really primordial. Also, besides having a team with people from within the museum, it's important that you bring in people from outside, and preferably people with lived experience. By that we mean people who have ASD or who are active within an ASD interest group. So people, please team up. Look for those people, because together you can do more than just by yourself. Once you've teamed up, it's also important that everybody within the museum should be involved. Because you might have a good team, but only with a team you won't do the job. Everybody will be in touch at one moment or another with people with ASD. So it's important that all the people working within the museum should be involved. And then we think about, first of all, people working in the front office. It's the people who come into contact with the public. So also the people who meet the people with ESD, who meet their caretakers. We think about the cashiers, the guards within the exhibition rooms, the educators, the guides who do the guiding tours. So all these people, they have to be involved. But not only them, also the people working in the back office. It's so important that they also are involved. We've already talked about the management, because it's them who have to make the decisions. It's them who have to provide funds to change things, to buy things. The administrators of the museum, but also very importantly, curators, designers and scenographers. Because very often they will have to think about designing an exhibition in a different way, bringing exhibitions in a different way than they are used to do. So bring in those people, make sure that they are also involved. Very often, when you start becoming an autism-friendly museum, it's a process of years. It's not something that can be done, let's say, within a year. It probably takes some years and even longer. And then you have to revise things and think, where can we also improve? Therefore, maybe at start you will have some people and you will train them, but during the course, new people will come working in the museum. So it's not only important that the people already, the current staff gets involved, but also every person who comes to work in the museum should be involved also in this whole philosophy about becoming more autism friendly. So both seniors and newcomers have to be involved. Very often within a museum you have, let's say, the fixed staff of people, but also very often museums work with volunteers, freelancers, who are only temporarily or every now and then within the museum. Also, they should be in touch with the ideas and the philosophy of becoming a more autism-friendly museum. So also think about them, think about the volunteers, think about the freelancers. So what we would like to suggest is, with the project team, make a 360-degree scan of all the people working in the organization. So that you know from the top until at the lowest profile, people more in technical staff, or for example cleaning people also, that they know about the fact that a museum wants to become a more autism-friendly museum in the future. Everybody should be involved. And then it's very important, once you made the 360-degree scan, that you have all of them together, and then you make them knowledgeable about autism spectrum disorders. So it's very important to empower the workforce. Let them gain knowledge about ASD. Let them know what it is all about. And first of all, what you have to do, you have to inform them about the project. You made up a planning, a specific strategy that's probably also backed by the senior management also. So inform them and inform your colleagues about this. Tell them also what's the specific strategy, what is your planning, and what is the timeline that you want to use also for them. And very important in that way is listening to their fears and objections. Because becoming an autism-friendly museum means usually that you will have to change things, that you will have to adapt things also. And nobody really wants to change. So people will have specific fears, specific objections. Oh, how should I do this? How should I do that? Listen to them and take these fears and objections also into consideration. But at the same time, try to use them, try to use their ideas and suggestions. Because even when you have a project team also, you cannot think about everything. You have blind spots. You're not in every profession also within a museum. So people have, from their own perspective, specific ideas and suggestions. Make use of them. Because together, again, you're more than just on your own also. And then it's very important to have a training on ASD. Because a lot of people, they do know something about it, but they don't know really what is it all about. So here we come to the importance of empowering the workforce. You have to provide your colleagues with literature, movies, specific guidelines also on what is it actually about, autism spectrum disorders. What do we talk about? What do these people do? How do they look like, so to speak? How do we handle them when something happens? So make sure that you provide them with the relevant information. And again, this can be literature, this can be movies. This can also be, and this is very important, make use again of people with lived experience, because they are the ones who know best of all what it is all about. We made up some guidelines that we will talk about later on also, that you can use for that also. But also I think it's very important to buddy up with others. Again, as a museum, you might think we're going to do this, but maybe there are also other museums within your city, within your country, who also want to become more autism friendly. So why do not join forces, share your knowledge, share your insights and ideas, come together and visit each other, for example, also, because you can only learn from each other and you can only enrich in your own experience. And at the same time, by budding up with others, be it other museum professionals or a specific autism disorder groups also, you can also share cost in developing things that only can help people with ASD when they come to the museum. So this is really very important. Within the Spektrum project also, we made up some specific tools also that you can help. I already talked about the guidelines. The guidelines are like a very short, it's not too big, like a textbook in which you find all the relevant basic information about ASD. Use it, let's say, as an entry point to learn more about ASD and also to teach your colleagues about ASD also. You find links to more specific literature, to specific websites also, to movies that you can look at also. So use these guidelines as a starting point. And besides that also, we made up a specific checklist that you can use in becoming an autism-friendly museum. And the chapters of the checklist are matched with the chapters within the guidelines. And besides that, we also made a specific toolkits for museum educators, because developing, for example, specific things for people with ASD is not always that easy. And within the toolkit, you find specific methodologies and things that you can use in order to develop a specific program for music educators. Have a look at it and use it for your benefit. So this was all about equipping the workforce. In the next chapter, you will learn about everything, how you can help people with ASD preparing to come to the museum.